Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, it's time to make some sandwiches. Giardiniera is a 7.5% double IPA from Hop Butcher for the World in Bedford Park, Illinois. I've noticed Hop Butcher's really been hitting their stride lately, which is good news for us because they've been thankfully showing up a little bit more here on shelves in Michigan. With that being said, Hop Butcher did send me this can in exchange for a fair and honest review. They won't be seeing this video before it gets posted. You'll be seeing it when they see it. So let's take a look at the label. We'll get it into a glass. But first, I'd like to thank my executive producers, Brian Kramer, David Jeffries, Chad Shirk, and Cam Freeman for helping to bring this review to you today. If you'd like to become a producer, help out the channel, or maybe even just buy me a beer, take a look at my Patreon at patreon.drafttherapy.com, where you can get early access to these videos and a few other special perks available only to patrons. Let's take a look at the label here. So on the front, it says Giardiniera, which is, as you can tell from the label, I'll kind of go through it. There are these different little peppers, there's celery, there's a carrot, there's some onions, garlic on here. Giardiniera is it's like a pickled vegetable mix that you spread on sandwiches. You can spread it on different stuff. You can get it spicy. It's really, I think, a little bit more prevalent in Chicago, where they put it on hot dogs and all that good stuff. On the bottom here, it says Citra, Dorado and Mosaic hopped Double India Pale Ale. This is 7.5% alcohol by volume, as I mentioned at the top of this video. On the back here, on the label, it says Hop Butcher for the World. I pointed this out on all my Hop Butcher videos, but the thing that I really like about their labels, other than their artwork kind of being a little bit on that funkier side, is they always leave these tasting notes. They show you the hop and they tell you like what kind of flavors or what kind of tasting notes you should get from the hop combination that they've chosen. This one says fresh citrus, sweet tropical, light resin, which tells us it should be sweet and it should have a little bit of that kind of hoppy bitterness to it. It says hopbutcher.com. You can find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And artwork by Dan Greska, brewed and canned by Hop Butcher for the World in Bedford Park, Illinois. On the bottom here, this was canned on August 9th, 2021. It says sweet or hot, just like a Giardiniera. And I keep like wanting to pronounce it differently, even though I know it's Giardiniera. All right, let's go ahead and put a nose on the can here. Oh man, that has the aroma that I'm getting out of it is a nice citrusy, orangey, zesty aroma. There's a bit of a tropical aroma in there too. So far, the aroma is hitting those tasting notes. Got my IPA glass here. Coming out pretty cloudy out of the can. As you can see there, it's a little transparent on the pour, but in the glass itself, I'm pouring that one over. Actually, wow, I'm kind of surprised I didn't. In the glass here, it is, I'm saying I went a little aggressive on here. I got about 3 fingers of head. The head it's like a really different kind of combination of really dense, but also really big bursting bubbles. As you can see from the overhead, it's kind of like a mixed bag. You can see there's a lot of density here, but there's also a lot of these larger bubbles across the top. Holding up, the cross section is a lot of larger bubbles. I mean, that is pretty much the definition of what I would call hazy. I can barely see the shadow of my fingers through that. Holding up to the light, I'm seeing really orangey color, kind of like more orange juicy on the top, a little bit thinner across the bottom. You're probably seeing a little bit more of the yellow because of the direct light, bouncing on, or not bouncing, but hitting the glass. Let's put a nose on it. Yeah, it's has a little bit more of a dankness on the nose out of the can than it did in the glass. The sweetness is still there, but it's definitely very orangey, but also very dank at the same time. Let's go ahead and try it out. Cheers. I really want to talk about the taste because it's got a lot of interesting taste, but we'll talk about the mouthfeel first. It's on the medium side. It's a little bit lighter than what the appearance of this would give you, the first impression off of the visual here is I would think it'd be a little bit thicker, but it's on the medium side. It's a little bit almost medium to light. Not crisp, but on the lighter side. Let's talk about the taste. This is like really bursting, a lot of orange, a lot of citrus, a slight tropical kind of note to it. Almost has a bit of a pineapple kind of flavor in there, which lends towards that more tropical side. Like I've said, countless times, especially over the summer. The big like New England or IPA flavor of the year so far has been pineapple. I've noticed pineapple in all these different IPA styles or all these different New England style IPAs. It adds a lot of that sweeter note to it. This also has, again, it has a lot of that citrus note. It has a lot of orangey flavors, a little bit of a lemony kind of flavor in there, but not too much. It's more dominated towards the orange side. I'm not well, the tasting notes they mention, the only reason I'm kind of drawing attention to it is they mention light resin, and I guess there is a light bit of resin in there. When I see resin, I just automatically think of more piney kind of bitterness, more kind of West Coast bitterness. Resin to me, generally, I do get light resin on some beers, but when I see resin, I just like automatically think it's going to be a little bit heavier. There is a slight kind of, piney flavor to it. And when you see resin or you hear piney, just think they're the same thing. It's a little bit almost too smooth to pick up any of that resinous kind of flavor, but it is a little bit there on right before the finish, but then the finish, the aftertaste is kind of taken over more by that orange, by that tropical, like pineapple kind of flavor. There's maybe a little bit of a mango in there as well. Not like a super strong mango. Mango, I feel like I'm really susceptible to tasting mango and things. It kind of presents itself a little bit almost too, it has a sweetness, but almost this kind of bitterness to it as well. But I'm only picking slightly on a sweet kind of mango flavor, but I'm definitely getting pineapple, those tropical kind of notes in there. Like I said before, Hop Butcher sent me this can. They've been sending me a lot, they've been sending me like a box of beer every so often. And the one thing about that is a lot of them, they don't show up in Michigan. So I try, I usually post more about those on Instagram, and I want to do the videos and stuff that the people that watch from Michigan are able to get. So it's good to see that this is one that, us here in Michigan, I've seen it on shelves. I've seen it out at places. So I was really kind of excited when I saw this, saw this can, that I could talk about something that you guys see. I'm generally very pleased with what Hop Butcher does, and this is no different. I think if you haven't been exposed to Hop Butcher's beers before, this would be a really good one to kind of introduce yourself to it. It's not like super out there. It's kind of safe in the realm of like New England style IPAs or those, those juicy IPAs or those hazy IPAs. I think this one fits into that mold. But I think Hop Butcher, they do so many other beers that are kind of a little bit more out there. They're a little bit more challenging, and this one is kind of like baseline, what you should expect from their style, which I think is a good thing. But I'd like to see them come out with more of the crazier kind of stuff here in Michigan. I don't know like what the distribution's like or what control they have exactly over that. But I think if you are looking to see, if you've heard a lot about Hop Butcher, and I know a lot of YouTubers, beer YouTubers have been talking about Hop Butcher a lot lately, I think this is a really good place to start. I think that this is a nice baseline to kind of get you an idea of what Hop Butcher does. Do I think this is like a crazy out of this world IPA, New England style IPA? No, I think it kind of meets the status quo. It's kind of like what you would expect a New England style IPA to taste like, or one of those, recent day double IPAs are kind of all New Englands at this point. Unless it says it's the West Coast, you gotta kind of expect that it's either going to be a hazy or a juicy IPA. And I think that this fits in that box. Like I said, if you haven't had Hop Butcher before and you're looking to see, and now this flavor that I've taken a little bit, a drink after it's warmed up a little bit, it's gotten a little bit sweeter. But if you're just kind of curious as to what Hop Butcher does, this is a beer in Michigan that you'll find. And I think, like I said, it's a really good kind of baseline. It's a good indicator of different things that Hop Butcher does. I'd like to see more of their stuff come to Michigan, because I think that they have a lot more adventurous styles that they do that doesn't generally come out here. But this is a really good baseline for their style. All right, friends, that has been Giardiniera from Hop Butcher for the world. Have you had this beer? Do you have a favorite from Hop Butcher? Are you from outside of Michigan, and do you have a favorite that maybe we haven't tried yet? Let me know in the comments down below while you're down there. If you like beer, you might want to subscribe and click that bell. I'm here talking about beer twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, all for free for viewers just like you. And you might miss your newest favorite if you're not subscribed and getting those notifications. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, drink craft beer. Support your local breweries. Most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching. Cheers.